Okay, so today, or this week, we are talking about heredity, and I wanted to show you a few pictures of my family and what I have inherited from my parents. Here's a picture of my parents. My dad, his name is Dean, and my mom, her name is Lara. And if you look at them, so my dad has attached earlobes. Let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. So here's my dad. He has attached earlobes. He has brown eyes. Um, his hair. He has a widow's peak, which if you remember, widow's peak kind of goes out towards the center. And then so his nose is I don't know if there's a way to describe that, but just looking at my dad, his height, he's a little small. He's a little smaller than me. I'm 5'9". I'm a little taller than him. So that's my mom and my dad. Okay, my mom, she also has brown eyes, and she has a great smile, which I think I've inherited. Her hair color is about the same as my dad's when he was that age, but his hair went a little bit grayer. So yeah, my mom has curly hair. My dad has straight hair. I did inherit the straight hair. You'll notice in some of these ones that we've seen. Okay, so yeah, that's my mom and my dad. Okay, let me show you a picture of another picture then of my. This is when we were younger. So this is me younger. Here's a picture of my family, and I am the fourth child. And by the way, try and guess me really quick. I want to see if you can guess which one I am. I'll give you about 5 seconds. Who do you think I am in this picture? Am I this little guy down here at the bottom, the little guy on the lap? Am I the guy missing a tooth over here? Or which one am I? I'll tell you what I am right here. See if you guessed it right. This is me, Mr. E. It is me, Mr. E. I was probably, I'm going to say, about 11 years old or 12 years old at this point right here. I am the fourth child. One thing to point out is that I only inherit traits from my dad and my mom. I don't inherit traits from any of my brothers or sisters. In fact, all of my brothers and sisters all inherit their traits from my mom and my dad. Now this is me right here, right? So growing up, oh, I accidentally wrote on my face. Hold on here. This is me when I was growing up. I'm not as tall as my brother. You'll notice my brother Rick is 2 years older than me. This guy right here, my brother Rick, he's 2 years older. Okay, and he at this time when he's probably 13 and I'm probably 11, right at this time he's a little taller than me. Right now, I want to show you a couple of things. So if you look at, I still have the brown eyes, kind of like my dad. I have a few freckles, by the way. I do have some freckles on my nose. I have some freckles on my chin. I do have detached earlobes right here. Detached. I do have a little bit of a widow's peak. I'd say I guess early on in life I have almost like a straight line, whereas my dad, you'll notice he has a widow's peak. My dad has some freckles on his face, a few freckles here and there. He also has detached, right? Detached earlobes. You can't see my mom's, and I don't know what she has by looking at this. My little brother, Kenneth, he has detached earlobes. It looks like a lot of people in our family have detached earlobes, and my other brother right here has detached earlobes, right? And you can't see my brother's ears because of his hair, but that's something that we have naturally inherited from my brothers. Okay, so my mom and my dad. Let's go back to take a look at another picture here. So here is years later. Okay, years later. This is my family, and I am now married, and I think I've got some kids at the time. So here we are. Okay, let's take a look at this. Which one am I now? Hopefully you picked this right here. This is Mr. E. Right there. I am the tallest, by the way. I'm the tallest out of everybody in my family. If you look at the traits now, though, I still really look like this guy right here. This is my brother, my younger brother, Tony. He's a lot younger than me though, and he's changed quite a bit. As we get older, you'll see that. So once again, I have inherited some traits from my dad and from my mom, and my brother over here, by the way, I have now grown to where I am taller than my brother. So I am about an inch or two bigger than my brother. So that's something that happens later on. So as you go through life, you know, things happen like that, and you know, makes a difference. So now I wanted to point a couple things out to you. Oh, really quick, this is a picture right here. This is all four brothers, okay? This is all four of us. This is quite a while ago too, but this is us standing by side. And if you look at this, here we are all together, all four boys. This is later on. This guy right now, he is he's actually married. In this picture, he wasn't, but this is my brother. That's probably, you know, he's probably 18 or so. He's probably just a young punk. He's pretty young too, and he's not married quite yet either. But this is me. You'll notice I am the tallest. I am the smartest. I am the most handsomest. And of course, you know, that's just because of me. And I do have, you know, I have a little beard going on there, but that's me compared to my brothers. We all have the same kind of features. Once again, this brother right here, we resemble each other a little bit more. This brother right here turns out to resemble my dad quite a bit more. I think me and my brother, we inherit a lot of the stuff of the traits of both my mom and my dad. So just remember, we can't, all the brothers, we can't inherit like my brother Kenneth. He doesn't inherit the same features as me. And Rick, my brother right here, and the guy in the white shirt with the bunny rabbit on, Tony, he doesn't. We all inherit our traits from our dad. Each one of us gets a mix of traits, right? And that's something we've talked about before. So just a little reminder about that. And then there's one last picture I want to show you guys really quick before we finish this up. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you a picture of my family. Now this is my family right here, and I have wonderful kids, 3 kids in fact. My oldest daughter, she is now teaching, right? So I've talked about her before. She's teaching quite a bit, and she teaches 7th grade. That's this one right here. This is Jordan. This is me, by the way, if you can't tell. And I do have a little bit of gray hair going around the outside of my head, kind of like my dad, you know. This is my son right here, my oldest son. He's the middle boy. This is my wife, and she has blue eyes. And then this is my girl right here. This is my youngest. Let's start out talking about the oldest one. The oldest one, she is obviously not a redhead, but how do you think that me and my wife turn out to have 2 redheaded children? Now, I have to tell you that my parents are not redheads. Not redheads, right? They're not. My grandparents are not redheads. But way back down the line, on my wife's side, she has a great-grandfather that has red hair. And I have some uncles, but once again, it must have passed through my grandpa and grandma, because you don't get something from that's not direct, either your parents or your grandparents. Anyways, they must have had the trait in their family, and then they passed it down to me and my wife. So we ended up with 2 red-headed, freckly little kids. And so this is our family. This is what I think is kind of cool. You know, kind of a good way to look at our you know, what we're like. So yeah, this is my family, and we're talking about heredity, and this is my story. I'm sticking to it. My family, my inherited traits are passed on to my kids. So are my wife's. Her traits are passed on to my kids as well.